Shark fishing with long lines begins with the preparation of fishing gear and crew. The boat going out to sea is equipped with one or more long main lines. The small lines, branch lines, are attached with bait and hooks at equal distances, before leaving the port. The boatman checks the entire eel system, braking mechanism, pulleys and personal safety equipment. The bait is usually small fish or byproduct baits that have been treated to retain an attractive smell. They are tied firmly to the hook to ensure fishing performance. The arrangement of fishing lines on deck is done systematically. The main line is rolled up neatly on the reel. The branch lines are arranged to avoid tangles for easy deployment. When arriving at the fishing location, the boat slows down. The fishing team takes turns releasing the main line and branch lines into the sea in a predetermined order, keeping the distance between the hooks appropriate to the target species and local regulations. During the time the fishing line is underwater, soak time, the boat can anchor at the set coordinates or move slowly depending on the strategy, while monitoring weather data and bottom terrain to reduce risks to fishing gear. When it is time to pull the line, the deck team skillfully coordinates to reel the main line into the drum, checks each branch line, and carefully unloads the fish onto the boat to avoid unnecessary damage to the fish and workers. For dead or processed fish, the meat processing process begins with a preliminary cleaning operation, washing the surface with clean seawater to remove dirt, then transferring the fish to a processing area with a stainless steel surface or a specialized cutting board, where there is a drainage system and the tools are sanitized. Butchering, filleting and separating the servings are performed by skilled workers, using sharp knives, hand protection and cut-resistant gloves, cutting in the direction of the meat grain to obtain a well-textured fillet. All meat pieces not for consumption, bones, organs, are collected in sealed containers for processing according to regulations, limiting pollution. After filleting, the product is washed again with fresh water if possible, visually and sensory inspection to remove debris, then quickly cooled with ice or put into cold storage at controlled temperature to preserve quality. During the process, attention is paid to food hygiene and safety. Tools are regularly disinfected. Staff wash their hands and change gloves when necessary, avoiding cross-contact with other foods. In addition, the team of captains and fishermen often comply with regulations on minimum size, prohibited seasons and prohibited fishing areas. Record fishing logs to serve resource management. Labor safety is always put first, in all operations where great force or sharp objects may occur. People on deck wear life jackets, resistant gloves, non-slip shoes and use a safety rope system when necessary. The process also includes quality grading, packaging and labeling, with quarantine documentation if required for export. Ultimately, modern shark longline fishing is not just a technique but also a chain of responsibility, applying measures to reduce the impact on non-target species, practicing emergency dehooking where appropriate, and complying with conservation laws to protect the balance of the marine ecosystem. All steps from gear preparation, dropping and pulling lines, Landing, filleting and storage are oriented towards efficiency, safety, hygiene and compliance. The next process in longline shark fishing does not stop at the filleting stage but also extends to the post-harvest processing and quality management stage. When the fish meat blocks, after being neatly cut, the excess skin and bones removed will be arranged on stainless steel trays or inclined racks to allow excess water to drain out, limiting bacterial growth. Then each piece of meat is gently dried with a specialized sterilized towel to prepare for quick freezing or cold storage. The fishing team on the boat usually operates in a chain. One group is responsible for pulling the line. One group handles the fish. One group cleans and packs. All of them coordinate well to maintain a stable production rhythm. The fish meat container is lined with ice underneath. The meat is arranged alternately with ice so that the temperature is always stable around 0 degrees Celsius, avoiding cold burn or spoilage. Then the container is sealed, labeled with information on the date of exploitation, coordinates, type of fish, batch number for easy traceability. During long fishing trips, the onboard cold storage system plays an important role. Temperatures are monitored by sensors, and if there are fluctuations, the backup generator will automatically start to ensure that product quality is not affected. At the same time, a team member is responsible for recording the log of catches, fish quantity, release and pull times, weather conditions and fishing locations for mandatory reporting and fisheries management. Before docking, the entire deck, equipment, containers, and processing areas are washed with high-pressure water and safe disinfectant solutions to avoid the accumulation of odors and bacteria. When the ship returns to port, the shipment is brought to the port according to the inspection process. Staff check the storage temperature, sensory freshness, elasticity and color of the meat, and randomly take samples for microbiological quality testing if necessary, once certified. The fish are transferred to refrigerated trucks for transport to the factory or central warehouse, where further processing steps such as quick freezing, vacuuming, cutting to commercial sizes and packaging with traceability codes are carried out. This entire process requires high discipline, precision in operations, good preservation techniques and compliance with strict regulations on food safety as well as protection of marine resources, thereby ensuring the final product is of high quality, suitable for domestic consumption or export after the shark batch has been loaded into a refrigerated truck and left the port. The next processing takes place at a processing facility or factory that meets strict hygiene standards. Here, the refrigerated fillets undergo a second quality check. Technical staff wearing gloves, masks and full body protective gear will check the meat surface. Color, elasticity and smell to remove substandard parts. The fish meat is then transferred to a conveyor belt to be sorted by size, weight and thickness to standardize the product before packaging. During this time, the refrigeration system in the factory is maintained at a stable low level to avoid affecting the meat structure. The next step is quick freezing. The meat is placed in a freezing chamber at a deep sub-zero temperature, usually between -35 and -45 degrees Celsius, to preserve its freshness and muscle fiber structure. This process takes place quickly within a few hours to avoid the formation of large ice crystals that can break down meat tissue. After freezing, the meat pieces are taken to a vacuum packaging area to remove air from the packaging, reducing the risk of oxidation and increasing shelf life. Each bag is labeled with details including the date of capture. Fishing location, method of capture, traceability code, net weight and freezing date, and the expiry date is clearly stated according to food safety standards. The products are then neatly packed into insulated cartons and transferred to a central cold storage, where the temperature monitoring system operates continuously, and data is automatically recorded to ensure that no abnormal fluctuations occur. Qualified shipments will be inspected once more by the competent authority if they are for export, including microbiological testing, heavy metal residue testing, and full traceability certification records. At the same time, the factory must also comply with strict internal quality control procedures such as cleaning the production line, disinfecting knives and processing tables, and controlling the flow of people in and out to avoid cross-contamination. Finally, the products are distributed to different consumer markets such as restaurants, supermarkets, transit warehouses or international export units. Each shipment is accompanied by clear documents to ensure transparency. And if there is a traceback, all information from the time of dropping the fishing line, pulling the fish, filleting, freezing to transportation can be accurately determined. This entire process reflects the modern, highly systematic way the commercial shark fishing and processing industry operates, with close coordination between the stages at sea and on land to create a product of great commercial value while still complying with strict food safety and conservation regulations. Next, after the product has been packaged and put into cold storage, another important part of the value chain is post-inspection and long-term quality management. All shark meat batches are recorded according to each traceability code. Along with detailed information from the exploitation, processing, transportation, freezing to storage process. The temperature management system in the warehouse is monitored 24/7 by automatic sensors that can detect small fluctuations to promptly adjust to avoid reducing product quality. In the warehouse, shipments are arranged according to the first in, first out principle to ensure that the shelf life is always within the best range. At the same time, the inspection department periodically takes random samples from many shipments to check the freshness, humidity, meat color, microorganisms and food safety indicators. The results are stored electronically for retrieval when requested by the management agency or customer. During this stage, the factory or distribution facility also carries out distribution planning according to market demand. Determines the transportation route by standard refrigerated vehicles. Arranges transit warehouses and delivery points to ensure that the entire cold chain is not interrupted when the refrigerated vehicle is moving. The internal temperature is remotely monitored by a positioning system and sensors. If there is any fluctuation exceeding the allowable threshold, a warning will be sent to the center for immediate handling when the goods arrive at the receiving point. The purchasing or distribution unit conducts a quick check of the packaging, temperature and sealing to ensure that the product is not accidentally penetrated or defrosted. From here, the product is further divided to restaurants, supermarkets, agents or export customers, all of which comply with the regulations for storage at deep negative temperatures until final use, to ensure transparency and meet international standards. All information from shark fishing trips, processing times, filleting, freezing, transportation, and storage processes are stored on a data management system that can be checked at any time. This is also a key factor in maintaining brand reputation and meeting the strict requirements of major import markets. In addition, the exploitation and processing units also carry out internal assessment programs, periodic training on food hygiene and safety, protection of marine resources and improvement of operational skills, helping the entire process become a professional closed chain, minimizing waste and ensuring that the product retains its highest commercial value from offshore fishing until it reaches the consumer. In addition to the process of cold storage management and product distribution to the market, the post-harvest shark exploitation stage also includes a chain of data management. Auditing and regulatory compliance activities. Enterprises operating in this field must establish detailed and synchronized shipment records with the control system of the Fisheries Management Agency. Each shipment has a traceability code linked to the fishing ground coordinates, date and time of line release, line pulling, yield, fish type, storage time, freezing process and final destination. This system is digitized so that when there is a request for inspection from customs or marine conservation agencies, the system is digitized so that when there is a request for inspection from customs or marine conservation agencies, all information can be provided immediately, which helps to make the supply chain transparent and avoid commercial fraud. After the shipments are released to the market, the factory also monitors customer feedback and checks the sensory quality at the point of sale to determine whether the fish meat retains its original structure. Elasticity and standard color, thereby adjusting the operating process if there are any weaknesses. In addition, A part of the product can be put into deep processing such as slicing, marinating, and packaging to serve directly to restaurants, supermarket chains or exported in a pre-processed form. This step is carried out in the factory with a closed chain system, from controlled defrosting, cutting and shaping, marinating according to standard formulas, vacuum packaging, product labeling, final sensory inspection and then refreezing. During this process, hygiene and food safety are always maintained at the highest level. Employees must undergo disinfection before entering the production area. Machinery and tools are periodically sterilized. The flow of raw materials and finished products is completely separated to avoid cross-contamination. When the finished product is brought to market, the logistics department is responsible for coordinating the exact shipping route, allocating goods according to orders, and updating real-time data to the management system to monitor the entire journey, thereby minimizing the situation of expired inventory or uncontrolled thawing. This is also the time when the internal audit department and competent authorities can conduct periodic inspections, ensuring that the entire chain of exploitation, processing, preservation and distribution meets marine conservation standards, international trade regulations, food safety standards and transparent traceability. At the same time, many modern businesses also invest in conservation programs, committing not to catch shark species on the list once the shark meat supply chain has stabilized. The next step is often market expansion. Risk management and sustainability control. Businesses in this sector often sign long-term contracts with distribution partners, importers or retail systems to ensure stable output and competitive prices. In addition, factories must maintain international certifications such as food safety management systems, traceability and marine conservation to meet the requirements of demanding markets. In fact, each export shipment usually undergoes at least 3 layers of inspection: inspection at the processing facility, inspection by state agencies, and inspection upon arrival at the importing country, thereby ensuring product quality from start to finish. In addition, businesses also implement internal periodic assessment programs such as monitoring processing line performance, preservation quality, logistics efficiency and raw material loss rates. With the goal of optimizing profits while maintaining consistent meat quality, most of the operational data is stored and analyzed to forecast demand and plan fishing for the following seasons so as not to put too much pressure on marine resources. In this process, fishing vessels must register clear operating schedules, comply with permitted areas and times, and apply bycatch reduction techniques. For example, using appropriate hooks and baits to limit the capture of non-target species. Catches outside the quota or caught in prohibited areas are removed from the legal supply chain, which contributes to building the reputation of the product in the international market. In parallel, factories also cooperate with research institutes or management agencies to collect biological data from fish samples, contributing to conservation research and stock management. In the final distribution stage, The product is transported by a specialized refrigerated vehicle system or refrigerated containers for long-distance export shipments.